Just this once, then Shirley Temple. If there was one thing that Jackson genuinely loathed about Evans, it was his long, wavy hair. What do you mean by loathed? Loathed means very, very hateful. Evans, it was his long, wavy hair and get shaving. So, what does he say, Jackson? Jackson says to Evans that Evans, yes, Shirley Temple, shave your hair fast. So, Shirley Temple is an actress, a dancer, and a celebrity. So, she had, wavy, long locks of hair. So, Evans by Jackson is compared to Shirley Temple. So he just calls him in reference to Shirley Temple because of the resemblances in his long wavy hair. The same way he is calling him Einstein because being a convict he is appearing for the O-level exam. So just this once, then Shirley Temple and get shaving. So he orders that, okay, fine, Evans, get shaving, man. Mr. Shirley Temple, get shaving. So now at 8:45 the same morning, so you see all the times and all the dates are very, very important. On 8th June, he is going to give the O-level entrance exam. At 8:45 the same morning, the Reverend Stuart McLeary left his bachelor flat in Broad Street. So underline Broad Street and 8:45 a.m. It's 8th of June. And Reverend McLeary is the invigilator. Now, what is a bachelor flat? I will show you what is a bachelor flat. Look, this is a bachelor flat. So a bed and the kitchen is there and everything, the bathroom and washroom and desk and everything in one single place. Everything assembled together for one man to stay, in a concrete way. So stepped out briskly towards Carfax. Now Carfax is the center. Okay, briskly, stepped out briskly means in a light manner. Carfax is like a junction, you see. The four-way, the middle center portion is Carfax, and Oxford Prison is also near to Carfax. So the junction is Carfax. So naturally, McLeary is going to invigilate Evans's exam. The weatherman reported temperatures considerably below the normal for early June. So it was chilly in compared to the month of June, and a long black overcoat. So what was McLeary wearing that day? It was drizzling and he was wearing a long black overcoat and a shallow crowned clerical hat. Okay, clerical hat, a shallow crowned one, provided welcome protection from the steady drizzle. Okay, so what do you mean by drizzle? Drizzle is actually the steady fall, rainfall, little drop, steady rainfall. And that is why, in order to protect himself from the chilly atmosphere outside, chilly weather climate, he was wearing a black overcoat and it was drizzling. He was wearing a shallow crowned clerical hat, and in half an hour earlier, which now spattered the thick lenses of his spectacles. So you see the spattered means the drops, the drizzle accumulated on the glasses of the spectacle of Reverend McLeary, and he was heading towards the HM prison at Oxford in order to invigilate the O-level examination, German examination that would be given by a convict called Evans. So in his right hand, he was carrying a small brown suitcase, and which contained all that he would need for his morning duties, including a sealed question paper. So everything, his morning duty refers to invigilating Evans, and any other things after that included a sealed question paper envelope, a yellow invigilation form, a special authentication card from the examinations board, a paper knife, and a Bible. Okay, he was to speak to the Women's Guild. So he had all the things that was required for Evans's invigilation, the question paper and everything. He carried the Bible because he was going to speak in Women's Guild after that on the Book of Ruth. So Book of Ruth is, a part of Bible. Okay, Women's Guild. Guild is an assembly of people, working for a particular cause. So Women's Guild. and he was going to talk on the book of Ruth and a current copy of the Church Times. Church Times refers to the newspaper. The 2-hour examination was scheduled to start at 9:15 a.m. So, and the times are very, very important here, every time and every date. So the exam was supposed to start at 9:15 a.m. Evans was lathering his face vigorously. Vigorously means very rapidly. Okay, was lathering in order to shave. See the picture beside. Evans was the first picture. Okay, he was lathering rapidly when Stephens brought in 2 small square tables. So at that time, Stephens brought 2 small square tables, okay, and Stephens, the junior officer, and set them opposite each other in the narrow space between the bunk on the one side and on the other a distempered stone wall. Next, Stephens brought in 2 hard chairs. So you see how it was Evans's cell. As one enters from the door, one side it was the wall and the other side the bunk was placed. You see, this is somewhat like this. Okay, one side this is the wall and the other side this is the bunk, and that is the door. So one table was placed beside the wall and the other table was placed beside the bunk. On the one side and on the other a distempered stone wall. Next he brought in 2 hard chairs, slightly less battered, of which he placed in front of the table which stood nearer the cell door. So what do you mean by battered? Battered means that becomes rough and due to usage, wear and tear due to usage. So the less used one was placed beside the door and the wall. Okay, and that chair was meant for the invigilator, Mr. McLeary. And the other chair was placed beside the bunk that was for the examinee, that is our Evans, of which he placed in front of the table which stood nearer the cell door. So the chair that was nearer to the cell door was actually meant for the invigilator. Jackson put in a brief final appearance. Behave yourself, laddie. So finally the time of examination was approaching, so he asks him to behave himself. Evans turned and nodded. Okay, fine, behave yourself, laddie. And these, Jackson pointed to the pin-ups, his hair, his wavy hair that was compared to Shirley Temple. Off. Okay, he asked off. That is pin-ups. Open it proper. Hair. Evans turned and nodded again. I was going to take them down anyway. So yeah, I was about to do that, huh? M is them. It's the abbreviated form. A minister, ain't he? So is he. So he's asking about the invigilator. Evans is asking, he's a minister, right? The chap coming to sit in, the invigilator. That is McLeary. Reverend Stuart McLeary is a minister, right? The chap here refers to the invigilator, his way of talking. And he asks Jackson, though he is quite well acquainted of the fact that he is a lawyer, a minister coming from St. Mary Mag's, from where he is not aware, but he is a minister that he was aware of. And how did you know that? Asks Jackson quietly. So Jackson asks him, how are you so well informed about each and everything, laddie? How do you know that he is a minister? Well, I had to sign some forms. Eddie is HAD, had. So he says that, yeah, I had to sign some forms, And at that time, I could not help myself to look about, to have a glance on the name of my invigilator and his details. So that is how I found it out. I was a bit, inquisitive, curious. So at that time, I came to know. Evans drew the razor carefully down his left cheek and left a neat swath in the white leather. Okay, so then Evans put his razor down and shaved himself, left cheek, and left a neat swath. You see in the second picture, he just brought the razor down neatly in a vertical column wise to have a nice proper shave, clean shave. Okay, so now Evans asks, can I ask you something, Mr. Jackson? Why did they have to bug me in the cell? He nodded his head vaguely to a point above the door. So Evans noticed that a microphone was placed on the top of his cell door. So this is his cell door, and there was a microphone, a little minute point, and Evans noticed it. And so he's asking, why did they have to bug me, to budge me, whatever I'm talking, and why do you have to listen? He nodded and pointed to the point. Conceded Jackson. Not a very neat job. Jackson said to himself, yeah, not a very good job. Evans noticed it. They are not. So Jackson was about to say, they are not. Evans cut him short. They don't honestly think I'm going to try to again. Jackson cut him short. They are taking no chances, Evans. So Evans is smiling and telling, don't tell me that they are thinking that I might escape. They are thinking they want to budge me, whatever I'm going to say and speak. They are taking no chances, Evans. Nobody in his senses would take any chance with you. So chance regarding what case? Regarding escape from the prison. He is known as the jailbreak. So he may try any sort of mischief and escape. So nobody is taking any chance, and that is the reason he will be budged in. Who's going to listen to me? So who is going to listen to me? I'll tell you who's going to listen in, laddie, fellow. I'll tell you. It is the governor himself, see? So the governor himself is going to listen to you. He don't trust you a bloody inch, and nor do I. I'll be watching you like a hawk. So Jackson compares his strict supervision to that of a hawk. Hawk is a bird of prey. So here it is a simile. I'll be watching you like a hawk, Evans, every time targeted on you, Evans. So keep your nose clean. Don't try to do any sort of mischief. Okay, give your exams clear. Do not try to be over smart. I'll be watching you like a hawk. The hawk watches its target from the sky. Similarly, I'll be watching you. He walked towards the door. Evans nodded. He had already thought of that. And number 2 handkerchief was lying ready on the bunk, a neatly folded square of white linen. So just one more thing, Einstein. So Einstein is referred as Evans by Jackson. Why Einstein? Because he, being a convict, he was bent upon giving his O-level German exam. Okay, so just one more thing, Einstein. Yeah, what's that? Good luck, old son. So you see, every prison authority has developed a soft corner for Evans just because he was sitting for the exam being a convict. So he wishes him good luck, old son. In the little lodge just inside the prison's main gates, the Reverend S. McLeary signed his name neatly in the visitor's book. So the invigilator has arrived, signed his name, and from thence means that is from there. Okay, thence walked side by side with a silent prison officer across the exercise yard to D wing. D wing, thence means from there. D wing is the place, is the portion of the HM prison where Evans's cell was there and where he was going to sit for the exam. So he crossed the exercise yard and to D wing, where he was greeted by Jackson. Jackson, the senior officer in charge of the D wing. Where he was greeted by Jackson, the wing's heavy outer door was unlocked and locked behind them. So the door was unlocked and they went inside and again locked, and again there was the second door, the inner door, locked behind the heavy inner door the same way like the outer door, and McLeary was handed into Stephens's keeping. Now Stephens, the officer who was placed right out of Evans's cell, he escorted him. Him means McLeary the invigilator. Get the razor, murmured Jackson. Stephens nodded. Yeah, it's already taken because it is informed, it is ordered by the governor to take away any sharp instruments from Evans's cell. Well, keep your eyes skinned. Clear skin means be very careful, be on alert. Stephens nodded again. And McLeary, his feet clanging up the iron stairs, so McLeary was escorted by Stephens to Evans's cell now. Followed his new guide. New guide is Stephens, Officer Stephens, and finally stood before a cell door where Stephens opened the peephole and looked through. So Stephens opened the peephole and looked through Evans, the main, examinee, already prepared and was ready for giving the exam. You see how he peeped through the cell door. There was a peephole, it was open, and you see in the picture, okay, and he glanced inside. Stephens, that's him, sir. So, and he showed McLeary his examinee, that was James Roderick Evans. That's him, sir. Evans, facing the door, sat quietly the further of the two tables, the table that was further of the table that was situated beside the bunk. One was situated beside the wall and the other towards the bunk. So, and the closer one was for the invigilator. So Evans was engrossed in having a last time look. His attention was riveted means all accumulated to a textbook of elementary German grammar. He was concentrating on a last minute seeing of mugging up and just looking at everything. Stephens took the key from its ring, and the cell lock sprang back with a thudded metallic twang. So it was a metallic sound, and the lock opened, as you can see in the picture. The lock opened and McLeary went inside, and again the lock closed.